Welcome to SoulWhat, a SoulTopia production. Every Tuesday, Michelle and Roger Welch take a deep dive into the intriguing and proactive world of metaphysics, a world beyond our human perception. They'll talk to empaths, readers, and other guests from all walks of life to find out what's hiding under the surface, uncover the mysteries of our modern world, and reveal the answers you need to live a happy, healthier life. Now, here's your hosts, Michelle and Roger Welch.
Hello, everyone. How are you all doing on this rainy in Texas? Can you believe it? Finally, Dallas weather. We needed the rain, right? So how are y'all doing?
We could have used a little more.
Sound off, Matt. How are you doing?
I am doing great. Hold on, my mic's not on. Let me clear your stuff here.
Roger, how are you doing?
Awesome. It rained for like 5 minutes and then stopped, and then it was muggy and hot again.
Sorry, Michelle. You have my mic, so I have to actually switch to my camera to get my
How are
mic
you doing
working.
today?
I'm doing great. Yeah, I've had a long day. I was at work since 7 o'clock this morning, so it'll be nice to finish off the day here.
Get home and crash, right? Yeah. So, well, we are really excited about our guest today. Many of you already know our guest from here at SoulTopia and a friend of SoulTopia, but also at Tide, where he brought his wonderful creations that we will show you a lot of tonight. But I'm excited to introduce Robert Eberz. Did I say that right?
Close enough.
Say it again.
Close enough.
Say it right.
Eberz.
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 I totally said it wrong.
That's
okay,
all right.
Eberz.
She's just-
I butcher
Oh,
everybody's
I'm
name.
so used to it. I've heard everything. I just
But
answered it wrong.
Robert E.
There you go.
It's
Yeah,
called
and
Robbie.
I call him Bobby.
Bobby
Okay,
E.
so
Let's just go with
Robert,
that.
listen up though, you
good with
guys.
that.
Robert, a native of Texas, began his journey after college in the film industry in Hollywood as a production designer for 15 years before going solo with his art. He began illustrating children's books and has illustrated for over 25 books for the trade and educational markets. It's a huge big deal because any of y'all who don't know this, it's almost impossible to break into the children's world of publishing, so for children's books. In addition to his career as a children's book writer and illustrator, he owns and operates Grins Studio, where he creates one-of-a-kind sculpts, paintings, books, and a whole cast of whimsical and slightly disturbing characters. We like that. All of his artwork at Grins Studio is an amalgamation of humor, tragedy, darkness, and light, humor and tragedy, darkness and light, in the hopes he inspires and brings a small joy to people's lives. We're glad you're here.
Thank you.
How
It's
are
good to
doing?
be here. It's an honor.
Yeah, we're excited to have you. So I love your card. This is, can you guys see, Roger, hold that? And so
Kinda cool,
Robert,
right?
you guys, Roger can tell the story, but Robert came to Tide, which is the international divination event that we had in October.
It was a lot of fun.
No, we didn't have it in October. That's Portland. We had it at the end of May. And we have some of his goodies here, so we're going to talk about him. But tell us a little bit about how you got Robert to come to
threatened
Tide.
him.
And you threatened him?
He's not lying.
Tied him up and threw him in the back of the
Threatened
truck?
him. I told him.
He's not lying. Roger is a great motivator.
So tell us a little bit. Let's start with, where in Texas are you from?
San Antonio.
I knew
San
that.
Antonio, Tejas.
I love it there.
Military brat. I went to school, but we've lived all over the place. We've moved to Montana, Michigan, Louisiana. We've lived on pretty much every base, but it was a great experience.
Where did you live the longest?
Probably Louisiana.
That's what I thought. I
Louisiana.
would guess that. Yeah.
Louisiana. When I started at Louisiana Tech, Ruston High School. It's a great state. The people are amazing.
Yeah.
But I have a little bit of a wanderlust, so when I got to Dallas, I got accepted to an assistantship at Denton, North Texas State, but said, gee, I think I want to move to L.A. and work in the movies, so that's what I did for 15
So
years.
let's go to that. How was that?
It was exciting. It's a great career. What I was doing, it feels like a young man's game, young woman's game. It's a lot of work. It's 60, 70, 80 hours, but it was an amazing experience working on films, working in production companies. I was non-union, so I worked on a lot of low-budget stuff, but those are some of the most passionate people, and they're passion projects for most everyone. So everybody's pretty invested, and you learn. It's like it's on the front lines.
So what exactly did you do?
Well, I started out as a PA. The first movie I worked on, which you can see almost every Halloween on rotation on Netflix, is The Night of the Creeps. And I started as an art PA, which basically is a water boy. You know, you do everything, which, is necessary. It's like an internship.
If you worked as a water boy on Waterboy, that really would have been
That would have been ironic.
Can we call it Bobby
A
Boucher from now on?
coincidence. But yeah, it was a fun job. But flash forward, I just slowly worked my way up. Hollywood's a very incestuous community. If you work really well with the crew, you get calls to get on the next show. So there's very few down moments if you play well with others.
Well, you're very likable, so I can see that.
Oh, shucks. Thank you.
You are.
Sometimes,
You're outgoing. It was interesting watching you at Tide because the vendors, the first day of something, it's going to be a little slower, and especially a brand new event. But I call him Bobby. So Robert was up just working everybody, talking to everybody, and then you see the people we talked about it. They were just sitting there, and so you knew how to get up and talk and meet people, and then of course everybody wants to come see all your great items because they were.
Right. I wouldn't
show was
have
great.
done the show if it hadn't been for Roger. He really did kick me in the ass to get me going. But I'm glad I did it because it'd been so long that I'd been creating anything. So when he said, "You've got to do this or else." So I had 2 months to come up with the pieces I came up with. But I also have produced an art show in Seattle called Hullabaloo for 2 years. So I know what it's like to have the crowds come in and how vendors really should behave with crowds. And they want to meet somebody. They're there to meet the artist. And it's important that you don't just set it up and walk away.
Right.
Or act indifferent. When someone approaches your table, I consider it a gift.
Yeah.
And it's an opportunity to meet your fans or introduce new people to your artwork. So I came in with a little bit of experience, but I'm glad I did it because I met a lot of new people and sold a lot. So I was pretty happy with that. Made some new collector friends.
Yeah.
And it re-inspired me.
You were really popular. Everybody liked your stuff. Your dolls sold out immediately to,
those were fun.
if you want to describe those to Matt Oren.
The elemental dolls?
The elemental.
Yes.
Yeah, I wanted to do some dimensional work because some of the things you see here on the table I did, and as well as prints and paintings. But I wanted to do something that was kind of echoes my Grimm Studios vibe, which is kind of the creepy but kind of artsy. If you go to my website, you'll see what I mean. But I wanted to kind of run tangent to the theme of the show, which is the what would you call it? What did I say? The mystical side.
Mystical,
The
yeah.
mystical side.
There's not really a good word anymore. People
Right.
will say metaphysical, new age isn't a good word, so
Yeah,
mystical is
it's
good.
broad too,
I like that.
and I wanted
good.
to create some representations of the elements. I don't know why, but I get hooked up on the elements a
Yeah.
lot. They fascinate me.
I think we have
But,
some of those to show in a second. So let's back up a little bit and talk a little bit about you began illustrating books, children's books, and you've illustrated over 25 books for the trade and educational markets.
Right.
In addition to his career, then you went into doing writing and illustrating, owning Grimm Grins. Can you tell us a little bit about being a children's illustrator and author?
Well, when I lived in Berkeley, I was working and kind of adrift. I didn't know what I wanted to do. Still being a club kid and getting out there and having a good time, but not really focusing on anything. And one morning I woke up and said, I'm done. I got to do something. So I started working on a portfolio. And I started putting some work together, got a portfolio together, finished, solicited some agencies, found one. And I got a lot of gigs for the educational market. They're not available for the trade, but for schools. So I did a lot. My first one was Robot Cat. I have this thing where I'm always doing cats. I get jobs
Show
for
us.
cats.
Yeah. Do you want me to hold them up for the
Sure.
camera?
So I did a lot of work for education, and then I got a job with HarperCollins doing Splat the Cat. So
So this is what pulled up immediately when I pulled up.
Right.
Yeah, look at these, y'all.
So Splat the Cat was created by Rob Scotton, and I was hired to be the licensed illustrator for the illustrations.
Isn't that
and I've
amazing,
done
you guys? And so tell people, if they don't know, how hard it is to break into this part of the
Well,
business.
it's difficult. I mean, you really have to put yourself out there and be seen by a lot of people and show your artwork, understand the business a bit, learn how a book is made, research agencies that are taking on new talent, and gear your artwork. There's plenty of resources out there to find out how to put together a book portfolio to see if you can get yourself an agent, because an agent is going to be really the one that puts you in front of publishers.
Yeah.
And that's what she did. My agent, Chris at Wilkinson Studios, hi Chris, she put me in front of HarperCollins.
Yeah.
And there were about 100 people that they tried out. So it was kind of
That's
a
a
big
big
deal.
deal.
Yeah, it was, for me, it was my first big gig. But time has passed. That was about 9 years working on that, and so I started doing my own books and writing and illustrating my own books.
Is this one of your?
Yeah, this is the one that's out now. It's Goodbye Suki.
Oh, that's cute.
Connie, check this out.
You can pick her up on Amazon or Barnes & Noble. It's based off of my own dog named Suki, a black pug, and her parents want to move her to the country from the city, and she doesn't want to go. And she's got a very vivid imagination. It's a longer children's book, longer than the standard 35 pages. But I'm doing a series of Suki, and so I wanted to introduce all the characters right off the bat in the first book because they play a role in future books. So
This is the one when you're reading to the kids at night and they haven't memorized it yet. You can skip a couple pages, but once they know it, man, you can't skip one page. Right? Because they know. Wait, you skipped that page. Did you ever do that? Did you skip pages?
Oh yeah.
They already knew it one time in. They remember.
They memorize it. They know.
Right. Oops. Children are amazing.
Yeah. So now, that's.
Look, this one's got big words and big like.
Oh, it's perfect for you, Roger.
Big words, I can see them and see them. And it's short pages. Look,
and
with
it's perfect
pictures.
for me with my seeing.
One word on each page.
I got. Let's see. 5, 6, 7 words on this page and a lot of pictures. That would be great for this.
It looks good. So where can they pick that up?
Amazon or Barnes & Noble.
There you go.
Yeah.
Check this out.
I think you need to do something
Make
for the
sure
store.
The next Suki book, this is a working title, is Suki and the Spooky Cookie. So it's
cute.
a Halloween book.
That's
when was
a cute
this one?
one.
When did you have this one come out?
That came out a couple years ago. I haven't really pushed it or shown it.
Well,
I
now
just
it's time.
quietly let it go into the ether.
Yeah.
And I had so many projects going on. I had a show I was doing, artwork I was trying to get ready for other jobs. And I didn't really, because that's the other thing, if you're going to be working in marketing yourself, it's something that's taken me a while to get my head wrapped around. It's a lot
It's
of
so
work.
cute, though. You guys look. I mean, just look how cute.
It's sad seeing it, too, because Suki passed away last February.
Yeah.
And
I wasn't going to say it.
that was traumatizing. If anybody who's lost a little furry baby, you know what it feels like. So it's been tough.
So,
But it's in her honor.
yeah. And I thought it was Suki. I just wasn't going to say it.
Yeah, and you're so sweet.
Yeah.
you're so considerate.
So-
But I've had teachers send me pictures of them reading it in front of classes.
Oh,
and
cool.
It's been great. I get fan mail for her, and
Send it to.
it's super
Is
cool.
Laura Bush still living? Not Laura, the Barbara
You're talking about my sister.
Bush.
Yeah, I just talked to her a minute ago. I hope she's okay.
Not Pace.
Texting,
Bush.
so
I was
something
texting her. No,
happened in 5 minutes?
Barbara Bush and Laura Bush do all the reading for kids.
You know what? George Bush is a painter.
You
That's
should.
right.
Oh, I know.
He's
I've
not
seen
that
it.
bad.
He's not.
He's not that great. But
Well,
he's not
I mean,
that bad.
I
It's not
haven't
that. It's getting
seen-
better. Have you been to his
We're
library?
going to invite him
No.
to the next Tide event. See if we can get him.
So Trevor had when he was at SMU,
Is he?
he had a fraternity thing, lunch for the moms and sons there at
Bush.
SMU at the
Bush
in
Library?
the Bush Library, and so we went and looked in there. I was like, okay, that's good, and they kind of started getting better. You could tell his process
all practice.
evolved. Yeah, it got better.
You know, it's
So how'd
interesting.
you start?
Well,
I'm sorry.
back in the day when I was in college, I was trying to decide what I wanted to major in. I thought, well, I want to be a lawyer. So, I started taking my not sociology, but the classes that
Yeah.
pre-lawyer school, law
Yeah.
school kids take, changing my major. And I remember a lot of friends in law. I keep wanting to say law school, but thinking about it.
Yeah.
But they were either wanting to do that or be creative. And didn't I see, wasn't there a movie, The Firm, where one of the judges is at home and he's doing watercolors?
Yeah, I think so.
I think there are a lot of left-brain people
There are.
that have a passion for art. And it's interesting what comes out of it
Yeah.
because they have such finite time. And when they do create, they put out some amazing pieces.
Yeah.
Does that
I
sound
would-
crazy? It's
No,
it's
it
pretty
doesn't.
interesting. But
Well, and I think that a lot of lawyers want to get out of that left brain because it's just spinning constantly and like a
You mean
wheel.
like you
Yeah, and so you want something to balance that with your right
writing,
brain.
bracelet design.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Screaming. I don't know. No, I'm kidding. But it's really good. So this is your first book.
my
on your-
first release for
Okay.
myself.
I love
personally.
it. I love it. Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
And so the real deal with that. So if you guys, I've heard people before say that they want to do children's books, and I've heard the first thing you always hear is, "Okay, well that's not so easy
We need to
break
order
into."
Walker one and send it to him.
Well,
Oh,
it's
yeah, we
interesting.
do.
You can read it anywhere. I mean, writing for children is way more difficult than writing for adults
I'm sure.
because you got to really hone in on the age bracket you want to appeal to, and there's a vocabulary.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, there's plenty of resources to look up
Well, this
words.
is pretty simple to me, so I mean,
Well,
I could read this one.
No, not
see?
simple to write though.
I know. I'm just saying he's
Yeah,
got
I
the
know.
right vocabulary. For me.
Well, and it
I could fall
changes
into a
too.
hole.
I mean, these
That's
teachers,
like,
there are list
I've done
vocabularies they
that.
update periodically.
I did that at
or
Pride.
annually,
What
and it shows
things
what
that you
children can say. I mean, when I hear my nieces Olivia and Sadie, hi Olivia and Sadie,
Aw.
they the things that come out of their mouths, I'm like, how did you know that?
They're really
word?
smart though.
How did you
They're a
know
little
that
bit.
word?"
They're a
So
little
it's you got to
advanced.
keep in tune with it. You know what kids are reading, but you can't lose your passion. You know, because if you worry too much about money or demographics, you know, just do what makes you feel good.
I think that's true.
Right. But
for
keep in
anything.
mind, writing for children is difficult, and
Yeah.
you can't fool kids. They're
And
not
getting published.
dumb.
I think people think they can just slap together children books and they're going to get
Yeah, I
published.
get that
and it's
asked
not
all the
easy.
time. Hey, can you illustrate my children's book? I'm like, well, can you talk to my agent?
Yeah.
Because
it's
I
not
can't
easy.
make an end run around her.
Right.
Well, I have a children's book I'm going to write and illustrate. What do I do? Or,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're not going to self-publish, you want to go the traditional route, find an agency. I would try to find an agent
Mm-hmm.
first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they can market your book, because a lot of publishing houses, the big houses, they don't take unsolicited manuscripts, and don't illustrate it unless you're a professional illustrator.
Yeah.
You know, let the publishers, they like to put them together.
Yeah.
They like to do that
So you
themselves.
don't choose your own. You,
No.
you let them choose. Yeah.
Yeah, if you have a good story, a good manuscript, that should sell itself. Or if you're an illustrator, you work the other way. You
Yeah.
find an agent, and they're going to show you, and they'll connect you with a book.
Right.
But I think the mistake a lot of newbies make is they write and illustrate a book that grandma loved that story, or I love telling this story to my kids. But there is a process and a protocol if you want to go the traditional publishing route.
When do you think that your intuition started kicking in with, I mean, you've had it your whole life, but when, you know, we've kind of gotten past the Hollywood, but for children's books and when you're painting or how do you do this for painting?
That is digital art,
Okay,
digital
digital-
painting. I use
digital
two
paint.
programs, Corel Paint and Photoshop.
So how do you feel that you use your intuition when you're doing that? How does that come into play? Have you ever thought about it?
Well, yeah, actually I have, because one of the things I've read when I decided I wanted to pursue being in children's publishing, I would listen to a lot of what publishers, agents would say. And one of the things that agents and publishers would constantly say is that children's writers, illustrators that work in that market have still maintained a sense of wonder. And they're a bit, I don't want to say childish, because sounds so negative, but they don't lose that sense of wonder.
Right.
And you need to kind of hold on to that gift that was given to you, because we get so caught up in our day-to-day. So it's intuition, because I try to remember the things I liked when I was a child.
Yeah.
And I try to stay current. That's another thing too, because some stories are just not meant to be told.
Right.
Some stories should be told. But I think as far as intuition goes, it's just keeping your sense of wonder and trying to keep that alive.
We were visiting Walker the other day, my grandson, and he's watching Paw Patrol. But what was the other one that supposedly almost hypnotizes him? The TV show.
Oh, I don't remember. Yeah,
And
I don't remember.
There's a bunch.
And there's one that it literally, though, if you play it too much, it will literally hypnotize your child so that
Paw
you're only
Patrol.
supposed to watch it.
Paw
Is
Patrol.
it that one?
There's one of them.
But there's another one, and I can't remember the name of it, and they've tried to not let him watch it too much because it's almost addicting. It will. But Paw Patrol is the one he likes, but already.
He
Samuel
watches
would
that
like
one.
that one too.
Just turned 1. I guess he's a couple months over 1,
Yep.
past 1 now. But
He was actually good. That was Barbie.
Yeah.
Barbie's got a good show.
Oh, well, I like
I would never have
Barbie, so
seen it had it not been for the children. But when they were going through that, I think they still like Barbie, but
I've always liked Barbies.
well, you look like Barbie.
No.
But they have
We wish.
a good sense of story. They write some good stories.
Yeah.
I'm always about the story.
Yeah.
You know, and then the animation is really clever, and
Yeah.
they stay current without being
Too in your face about
too
it.
something that doesn't age well. You
Yeah,
know, because
gotcha.
that's the problem. A lot of animation faces they put music in and make jokes, which are great, but a lot of them don't age well.
Yeah,
So when you
gotcha.
go back and visit, it's like, what did he say?
They don't have staying power. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So how did you? So then, how did you get into the different? Did you train for a certain type of modality of art, or is modality the right or medium of art work, or did you train at different times to draw, to do digital art, and then to sculpt, or did it all come at one time?
Well, it's interesting because when I got the Splat the Cat job, I'd never digitally illustrated before.
Ah,
But they said, the creator, Rob Scotton, and they said what program he used. And it was Corel Paint. And he did each hair by hand. That's different now because now they have different ways of doing it. But so I ran out and bought the program, Corel Paint.
Yeah.
And I spent about 20 hours looking on YouTube, digitally painting.
yeah.
And I trained myself because I wanted the job.
So what was first?
Uh,
As far as your artwork, was it sculpting?
You know, that just kind of came. I have a lot of friends. You know, I surround myself with artists, and some of them are sculptors. And I've always had an affinity for holidays, Halloween primarily.
Yeah.
And I have friends that were in the business of making art dolls, just Halloween themed, one of a kind pieces, and they're so beautiful. So these artists are just amazing, the craftsmanship, and I wanted to do that.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I
you
would
have.
study it, and I would
Yeah.
learn, and I bought a sewing machine, and I love to sculpt anyway.
Yeah.
So it's just a combination of all those mediums and.
Did
and
you
then-
take art at all?
Yeah,
Roger?
actually, because I was in college, I was a pre-architect student, so I had to take art history, art classes.
My
drawing
first year at Louisiana
classes.
Tech was architecture.
Yeah, so you don't go straight into architect school. You have to take all these
Basics.
which also you could take any art classes. So I got to take
I
guitar
remember
classes.
you showed me some of your sketches.
stuff
They
like
were
that.
really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started architecture. My parents were so happy. that
Yeah,
was
then I
actually
figured
gonna
out-
do something.
Well, boring. I
And
was
then
gonna
came
do-
up the strengths. What was that? One of those classes, the
Oh.
maths that
It's
involved
hard.
architecture.
I know
Once
at
all the
A&M
fun
it
stuff
was
is
hard.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought I
Well,
wanted to
also-
do psychology until they put me in a stats class, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna flunk this. That's gonna mess up my grade
Yeah,
point
poli
average.
sci during
Oh,
my
it's
law
like,
law
oof.
pursuit days.
Well,
Yeah.
I didn't mind that psych class.
But anything with numbers, forget about it. I mean, so
Well, in our college, it was you took the same classes for architecture, pre-architecture, as you did interior design,
Right.
which was all
They overlap.
yeah.
so in
So it was
six-
like 3 guys and 30 girls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh,
so,
that's why you did it.
yeah.
So,
So,
in,
it's definitely the way to go.
It's
It-
fun. Those
yeah.
basics
Yeah.
are fun. I took pottery.
Yeah.
I took stuff I never would have done. And I
Ghost.
learned so much.
So in 6th grade, I took art, you guys, and the teacher was so serious. So she wasn't playing around. You already kind of had to know. You know, like nowadays, we were talking about to somebody, you can't just stick your kid on the volleyball team in 9th grade. A friend of mine, her daughter just made the top team, but you got to practice, And so in 6th grade, I went in and I took as my elective art. Well, she had us carving this head of something. And finally, I just smushed it in a thing, and I walked it up to her, and I turned it in. I was like, I can't do this.
What did she
I'm
say?
sorry.
It's Bauhaus.
She said she got a 0.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, college art is not. I mean, people. When I was taking, I have a degree in fine art from UT Tyler, but it's interesting because there was people that were art students mixed in with people who were in other majors who were taking it as an elective, and it's a small college. It's a commuter
That's
college,
hard.
so. If you have a life drawing class, and you know what life drawing class is,
Yeah.
you have nude models and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
you can always spot the non-art majors. that
Because
take
they're
an
like,
elective.
ooh.
Well, they get the giggles
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But, the teachers, they don't play around. I mean, if you're 5 minutes late for that class, they'll lock those doors.
No, lock those doors. Yeah.
And it's not an easy A.
Oh no!
It
Well,
was
wasn't
from
easy.
Y.
It wasn't in
but
6th
I was
grade. An easy
dedicated.
A. I mean, she gave out her curve was like a bell curve: 2 A's, F's, mostly C's, and I'm
Now,
pretty
art
sure I
history,
got the C.
that's the killer.
Yeah, that was killer too, and music history. I started music history at A&M, and I thought this will be fun. Q dropped that class really
What?
fast. Yeah,
That was so
that's
easy.
too much work.
Well, art history is amazing. They shove a lot
I
of
did
information.
movie history, and I like that.
Which one?
Movie.
Oh.
History of films.
Oh,
Loved
okay.
it. My teacher, she was so cool. She came into class smoking a pipe every day. And we watched the coolest shows.
I wonder what was in that pipe.
We watched,
Now we know how
at
you
Texas
passed
A&M,
that
no
pipe.
less, y'all. And we watched, David Bowie with, what's her name? The French lady. Somebody help me.
Catherine Deneuve?
Yes. Yeah, what was that show? It was so good.
The Hunger.
The Hunger. That's
Bam.
so good.
Horror.
Yeah.
Well,
But
that's a
we
good
started
one.
with Charlie Chaplin all the way up through, so I love that
She
class.
let you watch The Hunger.
Yeah, we
That's
did.
pretty
I mean,
cool.
she came in at A&M smoking a pipe, so come on.
Well, I had
I mean,
an
it's
architecture
Texas
teacher
A&M.
that had a mug of hot something.
Yeah.
I could smell it every morning.
Probably a lot of them have
It
that.
got her through the day, poor thing.
So, Roger, you want to walk us through some of the goodies of Robert's that
what
you
we
brought?
have over here? Okay, so this
Oh, my.
one, this piece here, the little bird
describe it.
cage, it's a bird cage with a fairy, blue man fairy. What do you call this one, Robert?
A Blue Man Fairy.
Blue man fairy. See there? Actually, Lizzie bought this one at Tide, and she took.
I thought she bought both of them.
She did. I just grabbed one of them though.
Okay.
She bought two of these. They look a little different. One has the little female fairy guy or female
Yeah,
fairy.
I had a
in it,
female
right?
and a male.
And then
They were supposed to go in the same cage, but they were too big, so
Too
I made
big.
2 cages.
Oh, okay.
So, for those of you just listening on the podcast, it's describe it. Matt, can you see it? What do you see?
It's a couple feet tall with a little bit of a terrarium inside,
Yeah.
and then a blue fairy type creature.
He's sort of an alien fairy.
A little
which
bit,
I
yeah.
like.
Got kind of a little bit of a bug face.
I thought
Endowed.
I like that.
Well, I made
Can
the
we-
mushrooms, and it's fun. It's part of the process.
Y'all
Yeah.
just going to go over that. Huh? Not,
What?
Talk about
I'm
the
sorry.
being endowed part.
Oh,
okay?
anatomically correct.
Anatomically correct.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the funny thing I remember in art school too. That's another differentiation between the novices and the ones who are in it to win it. Is when we'd have a life drawing critiques, and then the teacher has us post them all on the walls, and he'd walk up and down all the drawings, and we're all sitting there, and the teacher goes, "Does anybody have anything to say?" And I remember one time I stepped out of line. I said, "Yeah, where are all the penises?" Because there would be like a very detailed sketch, and then another one with a void. It'd be this great
we're
sketch,
checking.
and then a void, and all the bits were missing, and that's fine if it makes you uncomfortable. Whatever floats your boat.
But it's an
but I don't do that.
anatomy class.
If
so,
I'm going to do a naked
drawing
little
class.
fairy, it's going to be a naked little fairy.
Yeah.
There you go.
So then
The female was a bit more modest. She was
Lizzie got the
just-
female one too, because I went back up and I was like, I think I'm going to buy those, and they were
It was
gone.
Lizzie
She
had already
was so
bought 'em.
sweet, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
she would not stop talking about them. I mean,
She
if I
doesn't
didn't have
stop
to pay
talking,
the
period.
if I didn't have to pay the food bill, I'd just give them to her.
So
But thanks to her,
So this
my lights
box,
on.
y'all see? So wait, I have a box here that I bought, and do you want to describe this one?
All right, so
Robert, or-
how did you? All right, so this one's kind of cool because it
have
does
stuff in
open.
it.
You have it lined,
I do.
yeah, with the red velvet, cool. But you have the rabbits on top with the pinnacles
Yes.
on the lid here with the
Right.
different. Are these glass?
They're glass.
Yeah, they're
I like
glass
'em.
cabochons.
Yep. So those are cool.
I do a lot of where I'll sculpt and create textures and iconography on top of wood.
Mm-hmm.
Little baby coffins, boxes primarily. I don't know what it is, but I love boxes.
Get the baby coffins up here for us to sell.
Oh, okay.
Sale. For us to sale.
So you carved all this is
All of it's
sculpture.
sculpted and baked clay. It's a Sculpey clay, Fimo clay, and some of it are molds. And then these are kids' alphabet blocks
Oh, cool.
that I carve.
They're so fancy.
Yeah.
Laura was wondering where those blocks went to.
Oh yeah.
Probably
she
a Lindy or
communicates.
Sadie.
It's like,
or
where the
they
hell's
probably
my
counted
box?
those.
But yeah, it's fun, and I also do
I love this
sketchbooks and
box.
sketch journal covers. That was just something else I like doing.
Yeah.
It's my studio is crazy. I've got areas for things.
Show your, what else you want to show?
All
We're,
right.
they're show and tell.
I've got
You
one.
guys, I have a feeling you're going to have orders after this. So this is
And if you
Roger's.
haven't seen, all right, this one you sent me because you actually, before I got it, here's the Baba Duke.
I am partial to Hollywood horror.
Describe.
So this is a Baba Duke statue. Okay, Set him by the door. So cool thing
He
is,
stays
though,
in our
if you
living room.
haven't seen, go to Bobby's Instagram page.
Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah.
Which is
It's
Grimm Studio.
Grimm Studios. Scroll down about 3/4 of the way and find this video for this one. It's super cool though.
Well, what I liked about the Babadook was that it was a creation that looks like a drawing. And that's what was amazing to me.
Yeah.
And that's what attracted me. Plus, it's a great movie. I love it.
It is, and it's an Australian. It's Australian. Right?
Yeah.
It's Australian folklore,
Right.
and based on true story events. And it's actually one of, we were talking about it before the show about horror movies, scary movies. Stuff
Right.
Like that.
And the movie has a book that the mother reads to her child. I think it was part of a promo kit.
Yep.
And I've known people that have acquired it,
Yeah.
which I'm very envious of.
Yeah.
But it is an actual book that they manufactured.
So-
and it's just an amazing illustrated book. I just love it.
Yeah, to me, this it was always one of those. When I watched the movie, it was like one of those gives you goosebumps because it's
Yeah.
like, oh shit, that's kind of actually I
Right.
can see this
well, and
happening.
also
And the
the
sound
lore
design.
around it, because there's so many people who do believe in it. So, and that makes it gives it a whole nother layer of
Right.
kind of spookiness because of the stories that have come from it. Right, having a lot of people, like, I don't
Yeah.
want to say this, but like hurt themselves and taking it really seriously. Yeah, I
Those are
think
some of my
that's-
favorite genres, like The Ring,
Yeah.
where there's these stories and they fall back and they've revived. They're terrifying.
I laughed during The Ring. I don't know what's wrong with me.
Really?
Yes, tell him, Roger. I
The-
literally.
Well, the worst one is
What
the
part makes you
cabin.
laugh?
What's the one? The Cabin in the Woods.
No, that was a great. Well, that was meant to be kind of
I've
horror
watched
humor.
that one. We've watched that one.
I had to leave
It's like-
because people were turning around giving me
Like
the
they were
evil eye.
people were at the theater, and we're laughing our ass off. It's like, are y'all get a grip? This is
I
so
couldn't
funny.
stop.
And they're-
I got
and
so
then
tickled.
we
Maybe
felt-
that's the
it
way you
just
handle
made it
stress.
worse because
Yeah.
the more the people gasped in the theater,
I
the
used to
more we
see all that
laughed
stuff when I
about
was
it.
little, and so now when I see it, if it's not the horror stuff, but like if I see any spirit stuff and it's not exactly like I used to see it, it doesn't scare me much anymore. It scared the shit out of me when I was little.
Kind of like Cabin on the Left. Last Cabin on the Left. That
I don't
movie
know
is
that
much
one.
worse than Cabin in the Woods.
Ring, he showed me. I watched Ring,
We
and I
watched
was like,
Ring, and it's
when
like,
is it
oh
getting
my
to the good
God.
part? I don't know what's wrong with me.
You know, some people it doesn't work for them.
But it did when I was little. I mean, like if I even walked through and saw like a poster for The Exorcist or something like that, it scared me for years.
Right,
I mean,
right.
it really
well,
scared
when
me.
I was little, the Amityville Horror book came out by
Yes.
Jay
Oh,
Anson.
Yeah, that's a
and
good one.
that scared the
It scared me.
out of me.
But I like those
But I
movies.
revisited it, like actually recently on Audible.
Mm-hmm.
I just was like, why did this scare me so much? And when I was a kid, there was San Antonio had a show called Project Terror every Friday, and they had a show called they aired one show called Gargoyles.
I
And
love gargoyles.
When I was little, scared the bejesus out of me. I bought it on eBay. I got it home, popped it in. Really? This
I'm
is what
watching a
scared
new
me
show
for
right now
years?
called Sandman. The
Oh,
Sandman. And
dying to see that.
And it's so good. You'll like it too because
Dying
you'll be
to see it.
inspired by the art.
Well, I love
And
Neil
it-
Gaiman.
And they get these little
It
gargoyles.
is Gaiman, right?
Yeah, I love it. I love it, and it's really good. It's got a little bit.
Well,
of
it's based on a
everything.
graphic novel too.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, is it who wrote it?
Neil Gaiman.
Neil
Yeah.
Gaiman. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Who did Coraline?
Okay. Well, I
And what
love
else
it,
did he
and I
do?
told Roger I'll watch it again with him. All right. So where are your elemental paintings
Okay,
that we
so
got?
we got these over
We
here.
we
So
bought
we-
a lot of stuff from,
They sure did.
but that's because we love it. We wouldn't have.
So I was tickled pink.
So we have what's called elementals. There's 4
Like I
of
said
these.
before, I don't know why, but in this elemental phase.
I'll tell you what. We'll actually. So,
You wanna let Bobby hold
so you
some of
guys know there's 4 of these. Okay, 4 elemental paintings.
And they're all
Here you go,
signed.
hold that up there. So
On the back.
see if you guys can figure out which ones these are. Okay, this one. Here's the.
Think
Some are
glass
more
of water.
obvious than others.
Yeah, a little bit more obvious, right?
This one seems to confuse people, though.
Matt, you got them? What are they so far? Which elements do we
Well, I
have?
don't want to ruin it, but yeah, I have.
You
I
got
have
'em?
How about this
Okay.
one then?
Yeah, I got that.
Yeah.
Okay,
We're
so
here
for
with
the
Block
people paying
Michelle.
attention on watching on podcasts, we've got one that's a white feather. We've got one that's a candle with red in the background, reddish orange. The artist could probably describe it better. And then we've
that was
got
good.
Roger. You're holding up a glass of water
Glass of water.
with a lot of blue and some bubbles.
The answer is
It's
in the
half empty or
description.
half full. And then the last one I think is really cool.
And here's the last one. Okay,
And
this
of course
is a
that
snake.
would be what?
This is a snake. So this
Sure.
is your earth element. And of course
Love 'em.
we have the glass of water is the water element.
It was supposed to be fire.
Which
but
one?
It
That
wouldn't
one's.
catch.
Wouldn't catch on fire.
Just
Oh wait, I'm just.
So
kidding,
then we
I'm
have the
kidding.
candle.
Put your gasoline in
The
that
candle
glass.
obviously is fire.
Fire. And this is.
Here.
I mean, think
Perfect.
about it.
I
If
love
you're an
that.
artist and you're asked to represent the elements, think about how you'd represent air.
Yep.
That's how.
I mean, but some people are like Luke was like, could that be Earth? I'm like, well, I guess it could with a
No.
bird feather. But
So I got my car today, and there was I took a picture.
Sorry,
There was
Michelle.
actually a feather on my windshield that looked very much like that feather. So I tried to take a picture without getting my garage. It's really messy in the picture, so the picture's kind of wonky, but I'll post it later.
And we also
the
and we've posted
feather.
the other ones that we got from him, which have the familiars
The
and
witch.
the witch from the
Oh.
movie The Witch.
right, that was my
She makes
interpretation.
quite the presence in our house.
Yeah.
Yes, let me tell you. She
Uh,
is large and in charge.
Arson was telling me that kind of startles him every time he walks by.
Yeah.
it.
She's
Because
startling.
we have it right in the right spot when you come.
I
And
love
of course,
that
I have
painting.
Annabelle downstairs too.
And
So
I'm
Yeah,
so
he's
glad.
scared of Annabelle.
I'm so glad you guys got her because
gorgeous.
it's nice to know where she's at.
yeah,
That was
she's-
my favorite.
Yeah. So we mounted, we mounted her on the wall, and then we put the familiars, which is the cat and the bird, kind of offset.
Right,
next to her,
right.
right.
You did a good job painting them.
What's crazy though is at night I'm turning off the lights and everything. The cat familiar has it catches just enough light from the upstairs. It glows.
It does.
So I kind of was trying to figure out, did he use
Did
glow
he do
paint
that
in
on
this?
purpose?
And I
Did
don't
you?
think it's glow paint in it. I think it's just how it ended up setting in the house. There's just enough light that hits it from upstairs down
And she
because of the
moves.
loft.
She's like the Jesus
she-
eyes. Her eyes
Oh, yeah.
move too.
She follows you
So
around
she
the room
follows
for
you
sure.
around the room, and I am not kidding. And a friend will come over and she'll be like, "She has something to say. What does she want to say?" And I'm like, "I'm not sure. I'd ask her."
Well, The Witch is part of a series I'm doing on horror movie stills, like taking the essence. So I did watch the movie The Witch, which is
Yeah.
one of my favorite films too. Just the cinematography, the costuming,
Yeah.
just alone as a winner.
It's a
Watch
great
after-
movie.
after
Oh,
we
it's
got
a really.
yeah.
You sent me that meme. That was really funny.
Yeah.
But I love, excuse me, everything about the show. So I wanted to do a series of movies, and I'm not really into fan art or hyper representationalism because there's a lot of, even though I do it sometimes, but as you saw those, I wanted to do icons from these big movies. So for example, I'll give one giveaway that I'm working on. So in Cujo, the mother is trapped in the car with their son,
Yes.
and he's got asthma, and she thinks he's dead, and she's holding him, and it just reminded me of the Pietà, where Jesus is holding the
yeah.
dead Christ figure,
Yeah.
and so I wanted to paint that
You
representation.
mean Mary's holding the dead Christ, or Jesus holding the dead
Mary
Christ?
is holding
Yeah.
Jesus,
Yeah.
the dead Christ.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful sculpture. Is it by Bernini or Michelangelo? Can't remember now.
And I don't know.
Oops. Sorry.
Hey, that can be the
I think
answer
it's
to one of our quizzes.
Yeah, that would be good. Who did it? The Pietà.
Is Wikipedia on or Webster? Brandy?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
He's on.
We know now that Brandy's Webster.
Oh,
So,
is she?
yeah,
But
so
yeah,
is
not
Westby's
interested in
Webster.
doing portraits or realistic portraits, just the idea or the summation of the vibe of the film.
Yeah,
And the witch was the goat.
Yep.
yeah.
And the closeness at the, well, I won't
Well,
spoil it.
the goat and the witch. I mean, you walk down those. Look at her, and she's like, "Do
See, this
not
is-
mess with me."
Yeah,
That's it.
Yeah, that's
That's it.
That's it.
Can you show it?
I think so.
Yeah. So that is.
So I did end up
she's
getting
in our house.
a print of that because I love that too. I thought that was really cool.
She is
So-
in, and I will say though, your eyes are a little more soulful than that print.
Right, because that is not a representation of a portrait of the actress. It's just my own
Yeah.
version. And
Yeah.
as are the whole collection. It's just my own. I'm not doing Dee Wallace.
Yes.
I'm just
Gotcha.
doing the mother and
Yeah.
taking that because I can do it in a show and I could do Dee Wallace and draw Cujo and recreate a scene, but that just doesn't do it for me. I
Yeah.
like the emotional part.
So we've talked about having an art show here at some point,
Yeah.
and maybe doing book signing, have people, me or a couple of other people doing some book signings, and so you guys can let us know. I don't know, when would you even have time to get that stuff ready?
Whoa. Well, so I'm working on a
Don't use
tarot.
excuses.
I'm working on a tarot deck, and it's a real world tarot.
Good.
I'm incorporating a lot of the symbolisms from the Rider-Waite, but it is going to be a real world.
You're supposed to brought him up here like 3 weeks ago.
I know.
Said,
Roger.
hey, I want you to look.
Roger,
you
you're
literally
bossy.
said. He literally said, I'm gonna bring these up there. And this was like maybe 4 weeks ago.
Shame.
And I don't know where you've been.
Shame.
Bossy.
My goodness.
No.
Well,
Somebody's gotta keep him straight here.
I think it's also
Who's keeping you straight?
I have a lot of projects because I have a coloring book coming out for adults.
Oh, cool.
It's going to be out in October, and if you follow me on Instagram or TikTok, I'll announce it, and I'll probably have some giveaways too for those coloring books because
good.
that's almost finished. That's almost in the can, as they say.
Cool.
And then I'm gonna start really hitting it hard with the tarot real world paintings
That'd
because
be
they're going to be
awesome.
more fine art,
Yep.
more like
That'd be beautiful.
the witch, nothing too overly ornamental or decorative.
Yeah.
Just fine art paintings.
Yeah, that'll be wonderful.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that.
I've got a question for you. What is your opinion? Chiro's been writing a lot. Chiro Marchetti's a friend of ours, and he's been writing a lot about the AI art and how he thinks that's going to change a lot of art, and especially like tarot art. What's your opinion about that?
I think it's interesting. I think that there's always in the past been concerns with new mediums taking over or not doing as well, like photography. That didn't kill art. It's its own medium. It's got its own respect. It's collectors. It didn't really do any harm. AI art, it's interesting. It's like with books, right? People thought books are just going to go away, but they're not. You know, people still like to read books.
Copy books, yeah.
People like to hold a book, and I do too. And I have tons of Audible, but I love the book. People love paintings.
Yeah.
People like, especially now, if you're going to start a website. I talked to a marketing guy, and here's a little tip if you're going out into the world as an artist, or anybody really who's an influencer, is that back in the day when I started, you had a landing page with your work. Your bio was somewhere tucked in between the second, third, fourth, or fifth click, right? But nowadays, people want the bio first. They want to know the artist. They want to know what they're investing in. That's why these shows that you do or that I've been a part of are so important, because collectors or new collectors or people that are just starting out in art, collecting art, or even wanting to be artists, they want to meet the artist. They want to know the story.
I do.
What they do. Like if you
Yeah.
go to YouTube, they'll see studio visits, and you can see the artist studio. People love that.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
You know? So I don't think AI is going to change much. It's just going to present a new art form.
Yeah.
You know,
So it's
a new art
interesting,
form.
you guys, because it's basically the words you put in, because I've been watching Matt.
That's all those.
All right, you know, and they're cool. But he showed them playing, you know, before he put in his word prompts, and then I was playing around with them, and I just can't find the one he was using. He said which one it was.
I saw one of Satan. That was scary. The guy just said Satan, however they
And
do
he-
it. I don't know how
yeah.
they do it. And it came up with
Oh,
this
yeah.
really disturbing image. I
Mm-hmm.
thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah. So I agree with you. I think, you know, new things come out and it doesn't. What is it? Tanner's boyfriend is in AI. He just got a promotion with is computer software stuff, but he's in AI.
Computer science.
Computer
He's
science,
doing
not
AI.
software.
He's taking classes in AI. now.
AI and got it just yeah.
Doctor classes.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that happened with the digital art movement. So, computer games have legitimized digital art,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like blockbusters.
Yeah.
And, you know, I did do Goodbye Suki with digital art. And, you know, in the very beginning, I was kind of a snob. I was like, digital art, yeah. It's not real art. It's just painting on a computer. How is that real? Of course it's real.
It's real. I
It's
mean, to
real.
people that aren't art, I mean, you either love it or you don't. You
Right.
you
It's
connect
just-
to the artwork or you don't connect
It's
to
another
artwork.
medium.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, some people like watercolor. Some people don't like watercolor.
Right.
So it's just, you know, some people are drawn to, you know, like what is the kind I like acrylic that's on there with
Yeah.
like a scraper thing.
With
I
a
want to learn how to
spatula.
do that a million times.
And
So
they
just
have-
tell me about that. Oh, go ahead.
Well, no, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. They're just different kinds for everybody. They have
Yeah.
pour art. Have you seen those? Where people are
where they
pouring,
pour it and put the
pouring on
holes in the
canvas.
buckets. And
So did
spin
y'all
it.
know I paid, I think, $93 for this book so I can have a citation for my next book that's due? And Roger doesn't know, but I can't ever find my pages, and you have to have the page that you get your quote from, okay? So, OMG. So I get this book, and it's all on Jackson Pollock.
Ooh.
And
bought
so
two
when
of them.
I accidentally bought two if you would like one.
Oh.
And so...
So you said you're returning that second one.
That ain't gonna happen. I don't
Roger's
return
like,
anything.
"How much
And
was that
so I can bring up shipping and maybe they'll return it. But I don't think they were $93. That was the Sophageo book. That was much more than $93. But Jackson Pollock, when he would splatter that paint, he was intuitively reading. He was a big alcoholic and went into treatment and stuff a lot of times. I had no idea. I mean, kind of looks. What was he from? New Jersey, I believe. He looks like a little bit of a mobster or whatever when he was young, but he had a really rough life, which I guess a lot of artists do. A lot of people do, and but when he splattered that paint, he would actually get messages from his paint, and it talks about it in that book, because that's the type of reading where you can splatter sand, cookie dough. You can read the cookie dough left in a bowl. And all the different ways, and that's the book I'm writing right now, is all the different things you can read. And I was shocked that he actually did read, because he didn't just splatter that paint.
Right.
with
There was a
no-
method.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
'Cause other
Ed Harris
people-
played him in the movie, and I think the woman, I can't remember who she played his wife, she won an Academy Award for that. Yeah,
But one of
died
mine's in the
tragically.
floor of my car, because I was like, oopsie. And he opened the second one. He goes, you got another one? I was like, oops. I wanted to make sure it came in so I could.
Amazon.
I had
And
to
the thing
quote
is,
my
I saw it on
page.
I saw it on the on the orders, and I was like, surely she didn't order the same book twice.
Oh, surely I would.
Yeah.
I would totally forget in the middle of the
I
night.
get
They
text.
didn't come in on the same day. It came like one came in on Wednesday, one came in on Thursday. I'm like, what the hell? She ordered both of these.
I
same
think
books.
one of them was
Oh,
used and
baby.
one of them was new. So
Gift it.
yeah,
Christmas.
I know.
Give it
Re-gift.
to an artist friend.
That's it. You can have it.
God, that would be a great gift.
So, tell us your favorite thing that you are working on right now, or can you not choose?
Well, probably the tarot deck.
Yeah.
The real world, real world tarot deck. I'm so ready to get the coloring books done, so it's past the fun
Right.
phase, because publishing your own work is a lot of work too.
So, is the coloring book your own?
Oh, it's all mine.
that's
Actually, they're based off of, so when I do a sculpture or design, I have a sketch. So I just refine those a bit, and
Right.
so everything you see in the books is just stuff I've created or painted.
So we need to get a date on. Actually, we had a date picked for a book signing, but Robert has plenty of time to get his art ready.
Well, hopefully I'll have at least the major arcana finished,
Okay.
so I can at least do some
Yeah.
showings then.
Yeah.
Get
so
his
that would
ass
be
in
really
gear.
good.
Roger.
He has to get his ass in gear.
I'm just gonna start paying him to get me going.
I call him.
Just sit in my
I call him during
studio.
the day. What are you doing? I'm working. You draw anything? Because you're just sitting there.
God, if you
How do
only
you know
knew.
what he's doing?
Because I tell him.
Because
He's like, "What are you doing? Why aren't you gonna read?" I'm just gonna pay you to sit in my studio and just bark at me.
Okay,
I'll
so
probably get a lot more done.
I can do some recordings for you.
we're gonna
We'll
give
just send
a.
those over
Well,
to
we'll
you.
have Matt fly a drone over just to check on you every now and then.
Hovering
Make
through my
you're
window.
Actually, yeah, he can spy on you.
I always
to
have
see
to
if you're
threaten him. Don't make me call Luke.
Oh shoot! Or my sister.
Yeah. So get it done.
Do I have to call Laura?
What sucks
So-
though is it works because they yell at me.
So well, sometimes we need that accountability.
You're right. I think you're right though. Artists have a lot of insecurities. Creative people and
I was going to ask you about that. Do
Oh.
you ever have imposter syndrome?
oh, absolutely. When I was working on Splat the Cat, I'm like, why me? This is a joke, right? And at any moment, I felt like they were going to say, "Just kidding." It just
But here
it feels
is.
weird.
Yeah.
Anytime I do something like when at a show and someone comes up and goes, "Oh, I love this, and it's interesting for something that comes naturally to you, for someone to kind of give you recognition on it. It feels it's a little embarrassing sometimes. Like why?
Yeah.
I mean, you just assume others can do it too,
But no.
but you got to
Others
get over
wanna be able to
over
do
that.
that.
You got to
Yeah.
have more confidence. It's a roadblock for sure.
It
But
is.
yeah, imposter syndrome, totally.
It is. It's like I have 2 books out now, and
Do you feel that way too?
Oh, 100%.
Really?
Yeah. I
It
mean,
sucks.
it's I still wouldn't say, oh, I'm an author. I would just say, I've written 2 books. I wouldn't.
Own that
But you
shit.
know what? It's
Just own
okay
it.
though, right?
Say it. Yes.
I mean, there's certain venues where it's exceptionally okay, like a show or on a podcast. There's nothing wrong
I
with
really
it.
love
We have
signing.
to own it.
Yeah,
You gotta think
I
about
love
it, though,
when I
like
was at the
this.
American Libraries Association in D.C. and signing there. It felt real. New York Times was right there, all the big places, and
Yeah.
we had a line. Just they had to shut it down. They actually dug one of my books out from under the thing to get for her to come sign it because she was starting to cry because she was like, I
Yep.
came just to get this, and I was like, we'll send you one. And then the publisher, what was her name? She was so sweet with the red hair that works at Llewellyn, and she's like, here, let me get your address, we'll send you one. So that's when I felt kind of real about it. I was signing the newest one, Spirits Unveiled, and it's interesting now that Magic of Connections even started picking up a lot more. So it feels real, a little more real now.
And you
but
have those moments of grace where you're like, you just be thankful for the
Thankful.
bounty and just thankful.
just thankful, yeah.
That there's people that are actually happy because something you created fit in someone's life.
Yeah.
And made them happy.
And they can take, and they can
that
take what
is
they
so
want.
rewarding. I mean, Luke
Yeah.
will tell you that, I mean, I have to make a living, but rarely do I think about the money involved, which is another artist hang up. It's a whole other show
Yeah.
about owning your business.
Well, it's the same thing with metaphysics stores or new age stores. A lot of people just think you're supposed to give everything away, and you just can't do that. You won't be here, because
Which is why a
that
lot
is
of
a whole
them
nother
fail.
show.
Wood boxes are expensive.
Yes, they are. I love this box.
Art supplies are expensive.
Well, let's do a giveaway, and I came up with a question. So, and Roger knows what we're giving away. So, the question is, if you guys can watch, it should be pretty easy. Where did Robert get his start? What was his first job that I read from his resume? You can be broad. It's pretty interesting, so y'all should get that pretty fast. I think that's a pretty easy question, don't you?
For me, it is.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was pretty cool.
I'm going to look
So,
this up.
you remember that, didn't you, Matt?
I don't know.
I was switching the show during that part.
Oh.
Don't disturb Matt, he's knitting.
Okay. No, don't even bring up the knitting, because you want to tell
We
it?
had
Did I
somebody.
tap a nerve?
We had one of our employees just hanging out knitting at work instead of
In
actually working.
Frisco.
What the hell are you doing?
Okay, so we're talking about her on the air now. But yeah, you
Why
don't
were you
knit.
terminated? Textile
That
arts.
will happen soon. I don't
Robots
know.
for cats. That was one of our answers.
What is it?
Robots for cats.
Robot
No.
Cat. That was my
So-
first children's book.
That's a good answer.
Splat the cat.
Before that,
Cat robot.
what did he do
Yeah,
before
this
his
is
books?
before this.
Before his books, what did he do?
I'm such a puzzle.
He began his journey after college in the blank industry
answer.
in what
Luke, you can't answer.
famous
Or Laura.
glitzy town.
Or Laura, yes. Neither one of you two can answer either.
And so while we're waiting, Laura and I, if Laura's listening, you too, we're so very sad about Olivia Newton-John.
Oh my God.
We love her. Yeah, that's almost like
He's a water
Lady
boy.
Diana level. I mean,
Yes,
Princess.
Bobby Boucher, the water boy over here.
So did we get
I
it?
didn't
Oh,
make
they
that
got it.
metaphor.
Somebody got it then.
She said water boy.
So in Hollywood. So he was
That's
in
it.
Hollywood. So
Luke McDonald's.
I worked at
hey,
McDonald's. and
not
Way
a
to
bad
call
place
him
to
out there,
work
Luke.
because
Way
you
to call
learn
him
a
out.
work ethic there, right? So who got
Water
Hollywood?
boy was Kelly Torres.
Okay,
Hey,
so
Kelly.
Kelly, what does Kelly win?
Autograph book from you.
a bucket
Okay,
of water.
You get a book from me. Which one? You can choose.
Yep.
Magic of Connection or Spirits Unveiled. My newest one is Spirits Unveiled. So,
I don't think you can see that.
and the other one is just down on the ground.
Ta-da.
Yeah, that's the first one. So,
Which one, Cal?
so you can
both
choose.
great
Is
books.
she in town or we'll
said-
ship?
I don't sure.
So if you're out of town, I'll just email shipping@soultopia.guru and
She
send
says
us
she
your.
has both already.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Well then, you can pick another book.
You know what? Does she want those 3 splat books?
You don't have to do that.
Oh, I got tons of them.
Well, you can
I
choose.
mean, not to take away
You can
from-
just email us later if you want.
I'll leave
No,
a
you're not
review.
taking. You can have the 3 splat books, or you
Does
can
she have one of
choose.
the bracelets?
She can have one of the
One
bracelets.
of the new bracelets for
Damn,
you
I've
that
been-
you have.
Sure. Okay, we'll decide it later.
Asked to
Just
buy a
email us
bracelet.
and tell us what you want that to be around the cost of a book. Okay. So we're going to do a few readings, and Robert has agreed to join, and Matt too.
He didn't agree. He
I
was
think
told
we
he had
just
to.
have time to do our lightning readings. Is that correct? Because is there anything else that we didn't ask you about that you'd like to tell us about that you have going on?
You guys have been amazing. This has been fun.
Oh, we think you're awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think you guys are amazing.
And Luke
too.
actually brought some wonderful products too. So Luke is Robert's husband, whom I adore. And the funniest thing is I walked up to the table and I said, there were all these, what do you call them?
God,
What do you call those?
them?
They're not
Succulents.
succulents. And I said, what do I have to do to
mean
take care of
succulents.
what do I have to do to take care of them? And Bobby said, nothing. And I go, sold.
That's exactly what she said.
Literally.
How do I take care of
How do I
these?
take care-
You don't?
One
Okay, I'll
of
take
hanging
them.
up in the green bedroom. There's one downstairs. I mean,
He does
they're
great work.
everywhere.
He does
Yeah.
great work. He actually has a website too and a YouTube channel. But
His YouTube channel?
yeah, Soothing Sounds by Luke.
There you go.
Oh,
But yeah, he's just kind of getting started. But he does beautiful. He used to.
I think we need some of his little ones to
Yeah.
sell up here, though. The
Oh,
little-
absolutely. He
the
basically furnished, when I worked at Macy's, all the people who worked in the offices had his creations on their desks.
Yeah.
But he used to work for Botanical Designs in Seattle, and
Yeah.
they decorated the entire city of Seattle
So you know what?
at Christmas.
But hey, you guys, to let you know what I did make a good grade in was I took horticulture classes at Texas A&M, and we did flower designs.
Oh.
And I actually learned how. I can't do it now, but that was one of the best
So
classes.
you've got a
We used
green
to
thumb.
botanical. Oh, no, not at all.
Nine.
No, not at all.
Well,
I
what-
mean, like, the minute I probably left those flowers, they probably went, meow, you know, but like.
How'd they go?
Like, get her away from us, please. So we will start with, who did I say was going to read first, Matt? I said
You.
me. Okay, so I'm going to read with tonight,
So,
with
did you
the.
remind them what we're doing?
Okay, so we're doing lightning round. Those of you who've listened before, you know what we're doing. So pick a number between 1 and 4 tonight. We have 4 people giving short readings. It's a reading for the week. So right now you want to set your intention, number 1, 2, 3, or 4. That is going to be your reading. Try to choose one of them so that you kind of don't bounce because you like another one better. Okay, just pick one now. Okay, and I'm going to be reading from Monty and Amy's. Their new deck is the Intuition Oracle, excuse me, and I will give you a short message from that really fast. And I'm actually not going to shuffle because I already did. Okay, so the card I drew is beautiful on the front. Let's see.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah. So these come from Amy's Tapestries that she sells artwork. By the way, we have some of their artwork, and she sells at Bergdorf Goodman, all of her creations.
Fancy.
And so this is the front. And on the back, it says, I want to have a lot of time to dissect this. It almost looks, I don't know who that is, but she has wings, and it says, the inspiration, your affirmation for this week, you guys, is I allow inspiration to fill me so I can inspire others. So it's just so that you can pass it along. So just like your artwork,
Oh.
right? You're inspired, you're allowed to, you're filled with inspiration or whatever you're working on, that then you can inspire others. I'm also going to draw really fast a crystal card from SoulTopia. You guys, these are for sale. And so the ones I got this year for the number ones is chrysoprase, which is one of my favorites. Actually, Laura Pace likes lemon chrysoprase, Robert's sister. So it's a feel better stone. I used chrysoprase when I was going through a very, very, very hard time, when I was going through a divorce. And it will get you through all the mental fog. It helps with stress. It does have a little bit of lithium in it, but it actually helps you with anxiety, stress, depression, broken hearts, and if you're being judgmental about something. And even if you're judging yourself too harshly. So chrysoprase this week, and inspire others. So or allow inspiration to fill me or you so you can inspire others. Okay, number 2.
All right.
Who's number 2?
You.
Oh, I'm using the Deviant Moon Tarot deck. I bought it here at SoulTopia about 2 years ago, and it is my all-time favorite. I love this deck. And I am pulling the Magician.
Woo-woo.
Isn't his artwork beautiful?
Yes.
It's digital, by the way.
Yes.
But this guy is a master.
Yeah.
I love his work. So, the magician. So, creativity. So, if you are pursuing a new endeavor, be sure to use all your resources. But if it is a new endeavor, be confident that you do have this innate ability for creativity and tap into that resource. But don't stand in your way. Just do it. You can do it, and you have got it. And don't be afraid. This is a creativity card, which is kind of neat.
Yeah, kind of
that we're
ties
talking
in
about
tonight.
this.
Both of our
But
readings
yes,
so
the
far.
magician. Good luck.
Yeah. Matt, you're up.
Yes, and as always, I'm using the oblique strategies, which again could be a card deck. I'm using an app which has all the same messages on it, and I really like this one, especially following after the first two here. So for all you number threes, my message is steal a solution, and especially I like that in the creative space because this is something that I actually tell a lot of people that I consult with for podcasting, which is to listen to a bunch of stuff, take what you like from the things that you like, and leave the rest. You could call it stealing, you could call it inspiration. So I think when it comes, I think a lot of people get bogged down with thinking they have to come up with the answer just themselves. But look around you, see what you can take from others, and if you want to call it stealing, you can. If you want to call it inspiration, you can. But really, like, there's nothing wrong with using others, using the resources of others that you have available to you, and having that putting your own spin on it and making that part of whatever it is you're making, whether it be a creative endeavor or in your work or in your personal life, whatever it is.
Right.
I like that because you hear the saying there's like really no new idea. Pretty much everything's been out there at some point, so you're just being inspired by something. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's this again. Like I said, I talk. This is one of the main things that I tell people when they want to start a podcast, and I'll stick just to that. And then people think they have to come up with something completely original and creative, and I say, look, there's no way you're going to be able to do that, but there is no one else but you. So just take things that you like and that you appreciate, put your spin on it, and that will be enough to be unique in this space. And that applies for a lot of other things.
Yeah.
That's good advice.
Good life advice. Yeah. All right.
Raj.
And
And
Mr.
I'm
Roger.
number four.
Raj is
so I'm
up.
number four, so I'm using the my unicorn deck, right?
Nice.
Magical fucking journey.
That is so cute.
All right, so I got y'all for number fours. I got you a card tonight. Here it is, right here. See the little ghost guy? What it says though is this is bullshit.
You've drawn that one before on the air.
Have I? Okay.
Yeah.
Learn to deal with bullshit. It's everywhere. Just remember what other people say and do is a reflection of them, not you. Don't take things too personal. So this week, yeah, you got people, you got situations, things like that are coming at you. Don't take it personal. Let that stuff. It's kind of like they say, letting water roll off the duck's back. You don't take that stuff. Let it go. Don't take it personal. You cannot control what other people say and do and act and things like that. You can only control how you act and your own feelings on this, and just don't take it. Okay, so
right.
be yourself, enjoy life, and don't worry about these other little minions running around.
What you think of me
Like
is
that
none of my
means-
business.
That's right.
That's right. That's
Yes.
easy. He actually, Roger follows it. Matt, you follow that pretty well, right?
Yeah, I'd say so.
And do you?
I have a little bit more problem with that.
I have a major
I'm a bit
problem.
of a people pleaser.
Yeah, me too.
Working on it though. Working
Yeah.
on it. Because that is great advice.
It is
So
great
when I
advice.
call him
And
and
you're
tell him
going
to
to
get
have
off
a
his
lot
ass
more
and do
joy
something.
in life, I can promise you, if you get to that point.
I think getting older is helping too.
It should, but sometimes I regress.
I know. I still coil up when I
Yeah,
get
so-
someone doesn't say hi to me that I know.
Yeah, I'm like, what?
What?
Yeah.
So,
What do we have
anything
coming
else? Yes. Okay. So that is our show for the evening. Thank you, Matt, for coming out. And so, Robbie, thank you so much.
Thank you
and
for
you
having
can
me.
find Bobby actually on Instagram and TikTok, Grimm's Grin.
Grimm Grins Studio.
Yes, Grimm
up?
Grins Studio.
Grins.
Yes.
We'll put it. Always remind me to put it, Matt, if we don't see it. Is it already in there?
It's in the description of what you're watching.
Yeah,
right
and
now.
follow me so you get the release date of my adult coloring books and when we have our show.
Yeah.
And when I
And
release
Luke's on there. He could be posting that, Luke. So you guys know that what's happening here, though, at SoulTopia is this Thursday night, and the Carrollton location, we actually have the full moon meditation, and Nikki
Nice.
and Mary are leading that.
Those have been really good.
Yeah.
We've been having the drum circles, but now we're just going to have the it's going to be really a good time. It's
Yeah,
nice
so
to be able
that'll
to
be
gather
nice.
together
Yeah.
again in big groups.
And then on Friday, you have James Devine
Y'all-
for
oh, we all
Tarot
love James.
Takeaway.
Yeah.
That's actually on Instagram, on the SoulTopia page on Instagram, and they're talking about King of Swords.
Yeah.
King of Swords?
Yeah.
And next week we have Granddaughter Crow. She's got a couple of books, and she's a healer and a reader.
She's with
pretty
Llewellyn.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
with Llewellyn also.
She's got a bunch of books.
So, and we have a whole calendar full of stuff. So we'll, that's just what's coming up, the next few days. Plus next weekend, just so you guys know, Michelle has a crystal class, Crystals for Prosperity, on the 20th. And on the 27th is my night of paranormal excitement.
You're going to want to sign up for both
I haven't
of
figured out what we'll
those.
do yet, Jill, but we're going to do something paranormal like. But then that's Friday night with me. But on Sunday, Michelle's doing, everybody's wanting to learn how to read tarot cards. Well, she's doing Tarot for Love on the 28th.
To do love readings.
Yeah. So, it's a full afternoon with Michelle and how to use your tarot cards and do
And can you
love
tell them how to
readings.
go to sign up?
So if you go to our website, you'll see tickets on the website to be able to sign up, which is mysoultopia.com. You can also go to the Facebook page and to the event. You can go to SoulTopia Holistic Boutique on Facebook, go to the events, and you'll actually see all of these events setting up right there.
Including signing up for Newts. I did notice that the hotel is sold out.
Oh, it is? Oh, okay.
Well, I didn't post that. I assumed you did.
I didn't post that.
So you might want to check on that because it does say that it is. So we need overflow. I think I emailed you about that today. But we are precariously close to. We have some people that are speaking. Madam Hamida emailed tonight. So like, I gotta get my tickets, and I'm like, you want to get your tickets?
That's where I met you.
I know.
It's a great show.
I know.
Guys, it's a great show.
And I love that picture of you in the bathtub with
Oh,
the
God.
coat on. That is a classic
Bonk.
best picture. That is a great picture.
Yep.
But thank you guys. And Roger, you want to
Yep.
close?
So thank you guys for following up with us tonight, and join in next week and keep it going. Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
Good night.
thanks. Good night,
Bye-bye.
everybody.
Thanks for listening to SoulWhat, a SoulTopia production. If you're intrigued, searching, or looking to schedule a reading of your very own, visit us in sunny Dallas, Texas, or visit us online at facebook.com/SoulTopia Holistic Boutique. And if you like what you heard, subscribe, rate, and review on your favorite podcasting platform to be the first to hear new episodes every Tuesday at 7:30 Central.